All right, welcome back to Blue by 90. I'm Justin, joined by Jack and Tanner today. It is February 8th, and is Michigan basketball back? I don't want to get ahead of myself, but 3 wins in a row, you start to think about it.
Is it too early or too late to place a bet for a natty?
I mean, you probably get really good odds, seeing as I think it showed us as like the 17th team out in Lenardi's first bracketology. But hey, I was just happy to be on the paper. I was happy to be in that graphic that Lenardi put out, to be honest.
Oh, man.
That graphic's kind of absurd. He's like, last 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 out, additional 4 out. We got a few more out. And then there's Michigan. Like, it's just kind of crazy how many different categories he has for bubble teams.
I mean, it started with next 4 out. Like, I feel like 5 years ago, it was like there's the last 4 in, right? And then the next 4 out came, and then he realized he could just list every team in the country, and everyone would look at his sheet. It's kind of genius.
I don't hate it. It gives us something to talk about.
It does. And it gives me hope. It gives me a lot of hope.
Well, I mean, I think they've been playing a lot better recently. Justin and I were at the game tonight, and we'll get to Justin was big time, man. You saw the text. Stop. We don't have to talk about that, but I will say, football note: Chris Jenkins looks absolutely massive, up to 300 plus pounds, gonna be a beast. But just watching the game, there was really great moments. That run that they won on when they ended up being up 41-17, I think, that was really the run that just catapulted them. And that was with a lot of guys. Joey Baker, Jack, that's your boy, came off the bench, was absolutely on fire. You had Doug McDaniels hitting some threes.
We gotta talk about Joey Baker real quick. This is the first time Jack's been right about something, I think.
You know, you throw enough shit at the wall, something's going to stick.
I mean, you said he was going to score 40. He scored 11, so it's still not right at all.
Double digits? He was double digits, though.
He was double digits. Probably is that his season high? Maybe?
Fuck, dude.
No, I remember in the first game of the season against Purdue Fort Wayne, he had I think he had double digits as well.
Okay.
I mean, if he gets a couple threes, he's
that's true.
He just needs a couple twos to get to 11. So I'm sure he's gotten there. But yeah, really impactful off the bench. He was a big part of that run, mid to late first half that really pushed Michigan ahead where they never really – it got a little hairy, but they were able to cruise the rest of the way.
I mean, a little hairy meant it got
to 10.
A 10. Yeah, that was it. Which against Nebraska, that's how it should be, in my opinion. It should be – double digits, and then they'll probably take on a run, but you just fend them off and keep it in double digits. I looked up, and all of a sudden it was 41-17. I knew we were on fire, but I had no idea it was a 24-point lead. It was that got bad quick.
Got really out of hand. What was happening? Is Nebraska just fucking shit in the bed, or?
I mean, they're just not good.
I would say this is par for the course. My wife's a Nebraska grad, so this is what she's used to.
Little lefty, dude.
Tominaga's a baller, man.
Hooper.
He's a baller.
Blue, man.
I looked up, he had 24 at one point. I don't know what he finished with.
That little up and under he had on Hunter was
– oh, my God. That
nasty, dude.
That, kissed the top of the backboard. That was that was a sick move. I did love – I have to respect it. The confidence to down – 22 hit a 3 and then turn to the maze rage and start talking shit is there's nothing you can do except for respect that.
Maybe my new favorite Hooper, man. He flexed on an assist he had. I think they were down 20 also. He
does seem like he'd be he's a Blue by 90 vibe for sure.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. That's
getting murdered.
If we had a Gus Macker team or something, I'd be Tominaka.
Yeah, we would.
Whatever his last name is.
It'd be 11-0, and we just would never stop talking. Our mouth would run the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Also, one thing too is we were up 41-17, and I think Hunter still hadn't scored yet.
No,
he got his first bucket late in the first half.
We got there a little bit late because I won't trash anybody that I live with for the reason that I was late. It was not Tanner's fault. If you can, one of us got our nails done, and it wasn't me. I'll just throw that out there.
Well,
But
how can we be sure of that?
I'd get a little mani petty.
Hey, I'm not opposed to it. It just I was busy. I wasn't doing that. I was taking care of business. I had to take care of business today.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I think we got there at the U12 timeout. Kind of got there as that run started. Terrace Reed, I think, had 3 blocks in like 4 minutes. Like, you couldn't score on Michigan because he was defending the paint so well. Like, he was just getting his hand on everything. I thought his stat line's not going to look that great, and he had a lot of fouls. But defensively, I thought he was fantastic. He might even had a couple steals. I know he got out with the ball out on the break from, I don't know if he was credited with the steal, but he played fantastic on the defensive side.
I can't. You can say pause at the end of this, but I can't get over how big his ass is. His ass is literally gigantic,
Thick, dude.
He's a thick
Hunter needs some of that ass, man.
Yeah,
Hunter was putting his ass into guys, though. It's good to see. Made me feel better about his big man skills. But Terrace is a thick boy, dude.
He's just a big.
Throw
boy.
that body around.
The one he had a charge call, and he really didn't do a whole lot. He just simply was. I truly think it was an accident. He took one step into the guy, and the guy was just way smaller than him, and there was nothing he could do.
He's still a young buck, dude. He's got a lot of body. He's still learning how to use it.
He's going to be an absolute
He's going to be fucking sweet.
He's going to be a monster. Also, he hit 2 free throws in a row.
Beautiful. The crowd erupted.
That was the loudest
amazing.
the crowd was all night.
The atmosphere was interesting. But it's also a Wednesday against Nebraska, so it's hard.
Wednesday's 6:30 game against Nebraska, I think is going to be a struggle no matter what. Those are the games though where I'm like, the Breslin's probably still packed for that one. This is where I do give it up for MSU. Like the MSU basketball crowd they always show up. I gotta give it to them. Like I do wish we were there at some points where it didn't matter. But it's Nebraska. They stink and we haven't been playing great either, so
they're hot though. The 3-0.
They got a big one on Saturday. Against whatever Indiana's ranked. I think they're in the top 20. 18, yeah. We got some big games over the next week and a half.
A lot of quad 1 games.
Two big Saturday games. Saturday games.
Definitely. And 6 p.m. this Saturday, correct?
I think so. 6 or 8. The MSU game's on 8 next Saturday. I know that.
Yeah. I love to. We really don't get many Saturday night games. It feels like we always have like the Sunday 1 p.m. game,
Why don't we ever have any Friday night games, man? I feel like anytime there's a Friday night game, it's on the road. I want to go to Chrysler on Friday at 7:30. Grab some dinner downtown.
That sounds like a lovely
walk down State Street over to Chrysler or whatever. I don't know, depending on how far away you park, and grab some dinner and then go to the game. It just seems like it's always a week. Like today, I was joking about us being late, but like, man, I turned around, finished my work day, and I work from home. I can't even imagine people that commute try to get to the game. I was like, oh, we got to go.
Yeah,
and then you're coming down Stadium and you're trying to get the Pioneer to park, and it was brutal. We ended up parking by Yost because I was like, I'm not sitting in that and trying to go.
I parked right in front of Shem. I parked right in front of Shem.
Yeah, I parked right by you because we walked through the parking lot of Shem. Also, they already have Chris Partridge's nameplate installed, which I thought was like wildly fast. Beautiful. Like we were walking and I was like, wait a minute, they just announced him today. He's got a nameplate already. They brought it back from a couple years ago.
I would say they probably just held on to it.
Yeah, they had
it in the closet. Like, all right, he'll be back.
Hey, Chris, when you come back, we got you with the nameplate on the parking spot, brother. We'll give you. It was front row too, man. Like
was he?
Front row, yeah. So. Right when you turn in there, was Chris Partridge's name, man.
Well, he's got a parking spot, doesn't have a title yet. I feel like maybe we should work on the title here, but I like the steps that we're taking for the
football staff member.
Football, just
beautiful.
He works for us.
You're here. You are in the building. You do things with us.
He just does so many things. Yeah. You can't put one title on him.
So can't quantify it.
Yeah, I will. I mean, having the football guys out there too, I felt like they got a pretty good applause, didn't they?
Yeah, it was. I was fired up, man. I mean, obviously, seeing the fellas out there. I mean, because I had seen, so where I was sitting, I had seen, obviously, Justin and I. Justin came over, said hello to my wife and I, which was very nice of him. And then, where he was sitting to our left, kind of like looking at the benches, kind of like half court. There was, Blake Corum was there, Chris Jenkins, Junior Colson, a lot of football players. But then I also had turned over towards the tunnel by the band, the student band, and I saw Trevor Keegan come down and some of the other offensive linemen. And then they came onto the court, threw some T-shirts out. Blake, gave a little speech. So it was a cool moment for the football guys to kind of get out there and get some love as well.
Yeah.
Blake's speech is going a little bit viral on Twitter right now.
I couldn't even hear it. So
he basically said, we're going to run it back.
I heard that.
Back.
I thought he said we're going to win a national championship is what he said, but I couldn't tell.
Yeah, he had like a string of things. He kind of said.
So it was kind of funny. I'm sitting there with him in the tunnel, and I grabbed him from the stands, and we're sitting there, and the guy that's like running the show comes over. And he's like, all right, Blake, what are you gonna say? And Blake's like, what? I think I may have dropped the ball in telling Blake that he was going to speak, and so me and him are like, I'm like, dude, just tell him you're going to win a natty. I literally said that to him.
It works.
Out there and said it.
Yeah, well, if it makes him feel better, you couldn't hear a damn thing because it was so loud, and also like there was so much going on. I was trying to listen to what he was saying, and all I heard was we're gonna run it back, and I think I heard the terms national championship, and that was it because it was really loud, honestly, when the football players were out there on the court.
Yeah, loved it. No, that was cool. They were all there, legit watching the game too, which is awesome. Athletes supporting athletes. I think that's been cool to watch. Basketball guys at football guys at basketball. I've seen some of the football guys over at wrestling too. Like there's some cool stuff there. So they're genuine, just good dudes, just really good dudes. I think I've said that 1,000 times.
I was about to say we need to start having a counter for every time you call them good dudes.
I'll say it 1,000 more times. I don't care. This basketball team, like, playing well though. You said it. This Saturday is like a gigantic game. You win that game on Saturday, and I think you're moving up to like the third section of next four out. You're in Lenardi's first 16 out.
Well, I think too. Thank God they won these last 3 games. Now there's like actual excitement around this game, especially with Indiana beating Purdue, knocking off number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think tonight, I was talking to my uncle about this, who's a Michigan fan, when we were coming home from the game. And, Jed Howard in the first half, I think at one point had like 5 or 6. And then he just turns it on and just hits a couple threes, hits a couple crossover step backs, and he hit a dagger at the end. He had 22 points. Doug McDaniel.
Do you think he took? If you don't have stats up, you might already have them up.
I don't have them. I would say probably like 7.
Double it.
He took 14 threes?
He took 14 threes.
Michigan took 26 as a team.
Yeah, he took 14.
Michigan was 14 to 26 as a team. Holy cow.
He had 16 attempts or 17 attempts, and 14 of them were threes.
I kind of love that, though. Just
shoot.
Bro.
Hey, man, the way that I look at it, as long as you have more points and field goal attempts, you're golden. That's how I look at it when I play 2K. Like, hey, it's efficiency, dog.
It is.
And what'd you say? You was 6 for 14? Mm-hmm. So if you're 45% from three,
I'll take that all day.
Hell yeah.
He almost had as many threes. I think Nebraska had 7 as a team. Michigan doubled them up in threes. They shot 57% from 3. But Doug McDaniel shot the ball well. When he took shots, they were good shots, and he made them.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about how small Sam Hoiberg is?
Oh my God, dude. So
Doug is tiny, and Doug will look tall against
dude.
Him.
Yeah.
So obviously we roll in, right? And I lived in Nebraska for 10 years. A lot of my good friends are Nebraska grads. So I'm in a group chat. I shoot a text. I'm like, yo, who the fuck is number 1? He looks like our high school, like our third string DB from high school playing Division I basketball. And then they were like, yeah, his plus minus actually isn't that bad. And I'm like, how often does he play? Is this guy getting actual run?
I don't think he plays too often. Like, it's usually.
I don't know. He got a lot. He was in the game in the first and second half in like pivotal moments. So I don't know how thin their roster is to have to, because I think he's a freshman walk on. So I don't know.
I don't think
that's
he's a
what
freshman.
maybe I'm tripping, but that's what somebody had told me that he was a freshman. But I could be wrong. He looks like he's 17. Like
I
he
don't
looks.
like to look up stats, but you're making me
Listen,
look up stats.
I know I will say they just have such a Nebraska looking team. They do. And
Oh, freshman.
he's getting run as a freshman walk on. They've got to
He
be
played
able to,
18 minutes and scored 5 points.
they've got to be able to
he's
recruit better
efficient.
than that.
He's efficient, man.
I know it's Nebraska, like known for football, but my goodness.
How about Wilhelm Breidenbach? Do you guys enjoy the sight of him? Just
Bubbles?
an absolute with the glasses.
Bubbles, my boy.
Just an
dude.
absolute legend, dude.
He's my second favorite hooper in college hoops behind KT, my little lefty on Nebraska.
Dude,
Just the Nebraska guy,
squad, they look like a squad that like
misfit toys.
Yes, you just had like, all right, you show up to the IM building and it's like, all right, this is our squad. It's just the first 5 guys that show up on Saturday morning.
Yeah, Reidenbacher, dude, whatever his last name is, he stroked that 3 in the
Hey, listen, this was so I'm texting the group chat trying to figure out who number 1 is because I was like, I just was like, I got to know who this is for my buddies. One of the texts I got back was, if you're lucky, you might get to see Wilhelm Breidenbach impersonate a newborn giraffe in person. So they do not like him. They really don't like him. He's a funny looking dude, though. I enjoyed his glasses. His whole aesthetic is just a vibe. It's good vibes. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
It's all very Nebraska. It's very Nebraska.
They also they might have an all name team. Like if there's a tournament for teams getting in based upon names of the players on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even going to try to say number 30's name. Tamanaka, I believe is the last name, but you've got a dude named Denham. You got Wilhelm Breidenbach.
Wait,
you got Blaze.
Denham?
Denham Dawson. He's a guard. He was number 12. He had 2 points. Wilhelm Breidenbach. You got Blaze Kaida, Oleg Koznets, and Jeff Grace, which is like the most white guy name ever. This is amazing. Their whole roster is
a nice little name team there.
Honestly, bro. That's amazing.
Ron McPherson. Blaze Keita.
I like the denim.
Blaze Keita is just like the classic like white person name. Like we have to make it some weird spelling.
Yeah. No, straight up. Cheddar played well. He didn't score, but damn it if he didn't rebound his ass off and hustle. And he had a couple plays. I mean, that's all we want from him. That's all we want from our boy Cheddar.
He's wild, man. I can't. There was a play. I think he was driving the lane and he was trying to dump it off somebody or whatever. I'm like, dude, that's me when I play Rec and Ed or like anything.
But he kept that possession alive. I'm pretty sure he had the offensive rebound to keep it alive, and then he was trying to get it to Hunter, and it just he looked like a baby giraffe.
He's
but like I just love him coming in once every 5 minutes for a minute, just cause chaos and then get out of there. I think that is like that's how if I was Juwan, that's how I'd use him. Like just completely just throw everybody for a loop and get out.
I feel like he's playing the role that Jace Howard played last year.
Yeah.
And Jace just like kind of completely lost that role this year.
I mean, Jace hit a 3 today.
He did.
Did he?
He did. He hit a corner 3.
Good for you, Jace.
Yeah. But yeah, just a really good performance from the guys, man. I mean, 6 guys in double digits. I mean, not much more you can ask for. Hunter with another double-double. I mean,
I want to see my guy Joey Baker get more minutes, man.
I think he's got. I'm on the Joey Baker for starting lineup club.
Me too, man. I'll tell you what. This is my dream lineup right now. You have obviously Doug at point. You got Jet, shooting guard, Joey Baker, Terrace Reed, Hunter Dickinson. That's my dream lineup right there. That's my dream 5. You have the Twin Towers.
Twin Towers are in the
Flash Brothers and Doug McDaniel.
And just Dog McDaniel.
Just fucking buckets, man.
I low-key loved the we had a Doug I think we had a Doug Buffkin, Cheddar.
Oh fuck, I forgot about Kobe.
Jace, Cheddar, Terrace lineup today. And I was just like, this is wild.
Okay, I need to reset that lineup.
All right.
Doug, Kobe, Jet, Joey, Hunter, Terrace, 6-man.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna
Oh, I
have
did-
this guy start.
Yeah, fuck it. Put 6 guys on the floor. Who cares?
I want to get. I know we had talked about on Twitter and through text about Duncan Robinson versus Nick Stauskas.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I just
All right,
want
let's
to
go.
make sure we get to that at some point because that's a
Let's
conversation.
jump into it now. Do we have anything
Right,
else we
let's
need to
go.
talk about before
Let's
that?
go. Now that while we're on the subject, let's do.
Okay. Tanner, you've got ammo, so just like fire away, man.
Well, so when you say pure shooter, like what do you mean? Because Stauskas
Again,
shot better from 3 in his career than Duncan
know,
Robinson
when I
did. And
looked up the
Stauskas also
stats-
handled the ball.
When I looked at the stats, I felt a little bit silly. Okay.
Well,
the time,
I
at, the
made
time
sure-
at Michigan, and not that Duncan was that far behind Stauskas. He had a rough
Yeah,
he had a rough first year shooting at Michigan. But then
The last 3 months of his senior year were really good for
Duncan shot 45% from 3. Oh wait, no, that was his freshman year. Oh yeah, Duncan got worse as he played at Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was looking at that backwards.
So I don't know because they kind of had he was kind of a tweener, right? So like he really struggled guarding 4s. I don't know if you guys remember that. And then somehow when Yaklich got a hold of him, if anybody remembers Yaklich, who's now the coach
we
at
need him.
UIC.
We should
Um,
have him give him a blank check to come back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Once I don't know what he did with Duncan Robinson, but Duncan Robinson was actually very effective at guarding in the paint somehow on that Final Four team. So
People forget Duncan's 6'8". He's gigantic.
like he's a legit. I mean, he's not a big deal in the NBA. I know the Heat have kind of not played him a lot since signing that deal, but
since the deal, he got his 90 mil though.
W.
He got his 90 mil living in Miami as a 6'8" white guy. You know what? I don't really care what else happens to you. You're
going to Thailand.
Good.
I think the crazy thing is Duncan Robinson had a better NBA career than Nick Stauskas, which is
when I
can't
think of
argue.
pure shooter, I think of Duncan Robinson because I don't think of him as doing anything else. Stauskas, I also, again, admittedly don't know.
Well, if he's just just a shooter, then yeah,
NBA.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, dude, Stauskas, man, that team
nasty at Michigan.
I mean, he was running point basically.
He ran
points a game.
I remember like going back to those state games, like, and he just demolished them single-handedly. You literally couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
That pick and roll, and he would hit a deep 2. Like if you go back, there was a stretch. I don't know if you guys remember this, but they had 3 straight top 10 games, I think, on the road, or maybe it was home road. But they played Wisconsin at the Kohl Center, and they hadn't won there in however many years. He hits that nasty step back, but the way he goes between his leg is not natural, and it's a dagger. And then against Michigan State, pulls up on the break as they're up 3 because Derek Walton hit the and 1.
Yep.
And then Stauskas hits the 3, money, game's over, blows kisses of the crowd. Stauskas is one of my all-time favorite Michigan basketball players for those moments alone.
Yeah.
Anytime that you're just a Sparty killer like that, I love you so much because they cared so much at that
Stu
time.
Douglas, Zach Novak.
Yeah.
Love that.
Can we just run down Michigan all-time
old
basketball
Michigan
players
player.
under John Beeline that also happen to be white? Because I have a good list
I was
here. You
gonna
guys
say,
remember
you want
Evan
to take
Smotrich?
All time.
You guys remember Evan Smotrich? He ended up transferring to Clemson, but he was all right. You guys remember Matt Vogrich?
Yeah.
Matt Vogrich.
Oh my gosh. Josh Bartelstein? He's like a front
Oh,
office guy in the NBA now. He was a walk-on. I don't know if you remember when Trey Burke hit the shot against Kansas. Yeah, he like celebrated before the ball even went in the hoop. So like there was a nice picture where like the ball's still up in the air and he's like celebrating.
His dad is like a big deal it was a big deal in the NBA.
Yeah, he was an agent, I think, right?
Yeah.
Mark Donnell.
Mark Donnell.
He transferred to Clemson too.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Ricky Doyle.
Yeah. How could you not remember Ricky
Gary?
Doyle, dude? He was the biggest fucking sweaty goober on that team.
I think Mitch. I'm thinking more like just very random guys. I think Mitch was a guy, but Mitch.
Ricky Doyle, like literally couldn't catch a pass in the paint. It was like, hey, we're gonna throw it down there to you, and it's just like wham.
You know who I miss like low key? Austin Davis.
Bro,
like he struggled at the start of his career, like with footwork and positioning on defense. his senior year, he was good for 8 to 10 points coming to fill in for Hunter, which is crazy.
The perfect backup for Hunter because you if I was an opponent coach, you try to time up your big guy to go out at the same time that Hunter goes out, and Hunter was in not as good a shape then, so he came out a lot. And then Austin Davis out of nowhere would just get like 6 points in a row with their backup center in. It was awesome.
And he had nice footwork around the rim, man. He could finish with his right and left hand. I mean, I liked Austin Davis. Also, can't forget about Big T, friend of the pod, fan of the tailgate, John Teskey.
Not many people make me look small. John Teskey makes me look like a child.
Gentle giant, that man.
He is. I will never get over how big John Teskey is,
dude.
Actually, my buddy sent me a Snapchat because he apparently works in the same building as him now in Grand Rapids, which that just gives me the funniest image ever of John. It was like John Teskey going to get cake in the break room because they had free birthday cake that day, and I'm just thinking of him grabbing his birthday cake and walking back to his cube, and he's just 7'2" and can just see over the cube without even peeking up.
Peeking out.
Yeah. Man, when I think he was at when I met him was at the Hawaii tailgate, and so I had some friends there that came from out of town, and I relive that. He probably doesn't at all think about this, obviously, but I relive it, and I'm like, God, I feel like such an idiot because I went up and I was like, yo, are you John Teskey? Who else is he gonna be? But I didn't want to be weird. I was like, hey man, really enjoyed watching you play. Hope to see you back in the league soon. 3 weeks later, this dude goes on Twitter and announces his retirement. My buddies texted me, roasting me for it. And I was like, I'm talking to him about going to the NBA, and he's thinking about eating cake in a cube. And I'm like, damn, I feel terrible.
Funny that you said that because he literally told me that day that he was. Yeah, he was like, he told us that he was retiring that day.
What are you gonna do? It's you go back to school. He's like, no.
He was like, I don't know. Do you know anything? Do you know anybody that is hiring? I'm just like, I don't know. What do you want to do?
I can get him in. I can get him in with me if he really needs it.
There you go.
He probably though. I'm talking to him, and I just sound like the parents from Peanuts because he's in the back of his. I'm like, I'm taking my talents to Northwestern Mutual, man. I don't know, it's over. And I felt like such a dick when I saw the tweet. And I was like, oh man, I felt like an idiot.
He did run to the Tyler's favorite moment ever. I think is going and doing some drinking with John Teskey at the truck.
That's awesome. Damn. That was kind of like pre-Tanner in the club era. So gonna have to next season gonna have to
that was I think Tyler's first ever tailgate. And this is my cousin, and he was beside himself. He's like, first of all, I had it was a Hawaii game. It was JJ's first start. We won,
rain.
We're going to win the national title. JJ's going to win the Heisman. It was a night game tailgate. It was vibes on vibes on vibes. Then he's doing beer bongs with John Teskey. He's thought it was the greatest day of his life, and it might have been other than Ohio State the Big Ten championship. But it is. This is the kind of magic that happens at Blue by 90 tailgates.
Listen, we're gonna have some tailgates coming up this spring, man. We got
if that was year one
softball season.
I'm blacking out at baseball. I don't care. If that was year one, me, Clayton Anderson, and Tracy Smith are taking shots together. All right. But we're gonna sing Creed, and we're gonna take shots together. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh man,
I'm so jacked.
I feel like Coach Smith, we could probably sneak him a beer at third base. I feel like
we should get him on the pod. Him and Clayton.
I don't know, man. He's kind of a stickler. I could see Tracy being when it comes to baseball.
Yeah,
I remember at his opening press conference. I was there, and I asked him about celebrations, the celebrating rule in baseball and all that, and it was something about Vandy and I think Tennessee, how they were kind of crazy on the field after home runs. They bring the coats out, the whatever animal print, whatever. And he's like, not a huge fan of that on the field, but if you guys want to celebrate in the dugout, you can. I think when it comes to baseball, he'd be like, who the fuck are you guys? Get away from me. But outside of it, he'd be totally fine with us.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see.
Anyways,
had to feel him out.
Yeah. I'm gonna shoot.
Now-
I'm gonna
now
shoot
I'm
him
ready
a text,
for-
see what's going on.
I'm ready for
if we
tailgates,
can-
man.
We gotta get left field rolling.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, big one Saturday. I'm TJD, Trace Jackson Davis.
Yeah,
Stud.
nasty.
It's going to be interesting to see him and Hunter go at it. And I think like this is where Hunter's at his best, in my opinion, because like everyone's going to be talking about Trace Jackson Davis and Hunter just like he can get himself up when he needs to. He doesn't always do it, but he can when he needs to. And I think that like this is going to be one that he gets up for. So I'm excited
agree.
for that one.
Yeah,
Hunter
he
hit a
steps
3
up when
tonight.
it's close.
He needs to keep shooting, dude.
He's
like
a good shooter.
he's a great shooter.
Yeah.
And you know what people don't talk about enough because it's like Jake Moody automatic, unbelievable at the free throw line. Unbelievable.
I was thinking about that today. Do we know off the top of our head what his free throw stats are?
I don't know.
It's
He
like
did
probably like
not miss
77
very
if I had to
often.
guess.
I was gonna say he's got to be like high 70s, low 80s.
Yeah, man. It's just that is such an advantage when you're that big to be able to shoot free throws because otherwise it's what they do usually to Terrace. It's a hack a shack.
Yeah.
So
But if Terrace is hitting 2 for 2 at the line, we're in
Then-
business.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Who are you gonna follow that?
So last year he was 80%. This year he's 72.
All right. Well, he's dropping down a little bit, but
I'll say
But still,
tonight, I
for a
think
big guy.
you
I'll take
ruined
it.
my narrative with your facts. I don't like that.
I know. I don't like the fact based.
I don't know if he's hitting
as
3 out of
well.
every 4 shots. Like I'm cool with it.
Yeah, true.
Still, I mean, especially for
As
college
long as he's hitting
basketball,
70%
you're golden.
for a center in college basketball, I'm completely. fine
Also,
with it.
I'd love to know how many times he's fouled. Is it an and one? Because I feel like it's pretty often.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know this, but the way his ability to finish around the rim is really impressive. Like at super awkward angles, it's always like, oh, he's not going to make that, and then it's like, how do you get that hook in? Like it's impressive.
Yeah.
To positive vibe it up. His 3-point percentage has gone up by 5% this year. He's shooting 37%.
He should take more.
Solid.
Take more. Stretch the defense out. That's
Yeah,
going to
get out
create
of
better
the fucking
spacing.
lane.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with this team. I think is just the spacing issues. And if he's hitting threes, now he's not taking them all the time. But I'd absolutely love for some pick and pop. Like don't cut to the basket. Just sag back and get an open 3. Take it.
Dude,
Make him
remember-
respect you.
Speaking of Johnny Teskey, that was his specialty. His junior, senior, I can't remember which
Junior
one.
year.
It was Jawan's first year. It was his senior year. He would just pull up in transition.
Yeah,
Like,
but I think
like straight up.
Junior year
his
Teskey was
junior
prime
year was
Teskey, though.
Beeline when literally under Beeline, like they didn't have any plays other than the pick and roll, but they ran it so well that you still couldn't stop it.
Oh yeah,
That was
Jordan
John
Poole.
Teskey, and he would either roll to the rim and he's way too big to stop, or he'd pick and pop. He does the 3 where like one foot is actually in front of the other foot. That's his form, but like he was sweet with that. I love that. I wish we ran the pick and roll way more with Hunter. I feel like we don't run it that well.
I feel like
That's
it's just
not-
it isn't smooth. Like I was watching them when they were running it today, and again, admittedly, I don't know ball, but he'll like set a pick, and then Doug will try to like go down the lane, and then Hunter's kind of almost just like following along with him, and it kind of like clogs the lane up. I don't know if that's just.
I think that could be a rep issue though, right? Like they haven't played that long together, you know.
True.
I don't know. Because you're right though. Like when I'm watching it, the
hooping.
flow just doesn't seem there sometimes. It's really like when the bench guys were in and they went on that big run, man, the offense was flowing. And then they bring the starters back in. And like I tweeted it, but Nebraska went on a 17-5 run because it was 41-17. And then it was like 46-34, I think, at half.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They just sometimes have some flow issues when it comes to moving the ball and moving in the offense. I don't know why.
I do want to talk about Doug McDaniel though. If Doug McDaniel all of a sudden is an outside shooting threat, like let's go. I mean,
Dude, I feel like he has been all season.
he has been. Well, I guess I just didn't know that he was a shooter. But especially lately, like today, he was 2 for 2 from 3. And if we just let's look at his stat line for today: 5 for 7 from the field for 14 points and 4 assists. 2 for 2 at the free throw line and 2 for 2 from 3-point. I mean, maybe a few more assists as a point guard, but man, it doesn't get much better than that. That is really quality point guard play for a very young, inexperienced guard.
Yeah,
So,
I like Dougie, man.
Yeah. People forget that there's 9 new guys on this roster out of 15. Like we're starting multiple freshmen. The first guy off the bench is a transfer. The second guy off the bench is a freshman. Like I'm not saying it's like excuse time, but I'm just saying I think that it's now they're starting to hit a stride because they're feeling comfortable. It took them longer than we hoped to get in this stride, but I don't think we're in a bad spot at all right now. Now we may lose by 20 to Indiana at home, and then we're all bitching, but like they've got an opportunity now where it's like you beat a top 20 team in Indiana at home, and all of a sudden this season could turn around like that.
Hey, fits the narrative.
Love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of winnable games left too, man. I mean,
and
the Big Ten is
the
still
way they are now,
right? Like I know Purdue. I think Michigan's probably 3 games behind Purdue, but Purdue. I mean, they're a number 1 seed right now, just because they're 21-2 or whatever their record is. But nobody in the Big Ten is really scares me. Like there's not really an ice cold
Purdue now.
I mean, so you think about it. You can win these however many next games, and then you have a potential to get a double bye in the Big Ten tournament. Like you never know what can happen in basketball. I mean, it's so wide open. I mean, every team from 2 through probably 12 or 13 in the standings is all within a game or 2 of each other. Like it's really tight.
It's Purdue at 11-2, and then Indiana, Rutgers are both 8-5. Illinois, Northwestern, Iowa, all 7-5. Oh, okay, sorry. Michigan's 8-5 now. So Michigan's tied.
I know, right?
Yeah. What is going on? This is the wildest year in the Big Ten that I can remember. Truly, I cannot remember something like this. And so it's almost this may sound stupid, but would it be advantageous to have a lower seed in the Big Ten tournament so you can get more wins theoretically? Play more games, or are you better with a double bye playing a really good team and maybe getting bounced in the first round?
I would say it's not advantageous.
I think if you get the double bye, that means you finished well down the stretch.
True.
I think the games down the stretch are going to be more important than the Big Ten tournament because I think so how many games are how many games are left? So they're 15-10 right now.
There's like 6 games left, I want to say.
So
7?
I don't know. I can't find their damn schedule. So yeah, there's 7 games left. So 15-10. I mean, you get to 21-12. Even if you lose, I mean, 21-13, and you maybe you got to win over IU. You get 2 shots at IU. So
yeah, usually the magic number in the Big Ten is you get to 20 wins. Usually is what it is. So, I don't know. That was kind of a fun hypothetical in the Big Ten tournament. I think it's interesting to think about because a lot of it is like, it's like eye tests, and like if you get bounced in that one game, like, I don't know, people just have a different perception of you, right?
I don't know. I think they got to finish the regular season strong, and if you're in the Big Ten tournament, you got to win it.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, none of those victories really matter. That's kind of how I think about it.
I still think they can get in as an at-large team because you have 3 ranked teams down the stretch. Who knows what rankings will look like as they fluctuate? I don't know. Quad 1.
I'm sorry. I hate the net. Can we talk about that for a quick second? I
don't know dick about it.
I'd rather just use KenPom, but that's just me.
I mean, it just feels like we're giving in to the nerds. It feels like we're giving in.
We're getting to the BCS era of
giving into the nerds,
college basketball.
I know. I'm kidding, but I think like I don't know. It's just too complicated, especially because wins that were quad 1 at one point now aren't. Wins that weren't are. It's constantly moving. I don't know how many I don't know. That's always been kind of a discussion in college football too, is like, okay, you beat Notre Dame in week 1 in a top 10 matchup, but guess what? Notre Dame ends up 7-6. What does that win mean, right? Like, I think that's still an evolving discussion, but like to just like have teams just wins mean more and less throughout the year. Like there also are teams that played really well in the beginning of the year, and that's a great win, and then they drop off. Well, that's still a great win, even though they, had a losing streak or something, or vice versa. Like, I don't know. Basketball is just like a long season for you to constantly change rankings and what a win means.
So I'll say the thing that I would take the net in some instances is you're not having people do it. So, that brings you back to the BCS versus committee thing. But so if you think about college football, I think the thing that really rubs me the wrong way with the committee is that you'll see some like really mid teams from like 18 to 25 that they put in there to then justify the rankings at the front end.
All right.
So with this, you can't do that because it's all on an algorithm. So there's not really a perfect way to do it, but at least you don't have something like that where it's like, oh, we got to justify having X amount of teams from this conference ranked in the top 10. So then we got to go rank 7-5, 8-4, so that we can be like, oh, look at these ranked wins. So I appreciate college basketball not having that issue, but I do agree it's a little hard to be like, oh, this team won by 2 on the road, so now it's a quad 1 win, and then next week it won't be. So it's like it's really confusing.
Yeah, and I don't know, like even like okay, the Ohio State win that we had the other day, like they were somehow still like top 30 in the net, even though they've lost 8 of the last 9 or something like that. Like I don't know, it's just it doesn't seem like it's like this perfect. I don't think the algorithm's perfect, which I don't know, it probably will never be, but I don't know. I had my uncle and dad texting me the other day, asking me like what quad 1 wins mean. And then so I was like, I was researching it so that to make sure I was telling all the right information. And it's just complicated. I don't know. I need to be able for my uncle to know exactly what this means without having to do like a dark web Google search.
Yeah. Make sure you cite your sources.
Oh, yeah. God.
It does feel like I had to like go to what is it? What's the format? MLA format?
Yeah.
Oof. MLA, ALA. It was ALA one.
It's MLA was
AMA.
for sure one.
AMA format.
There's like a Chicago one, I think. Like there's Chicago in the acronym. I don't know.
I
never graduated college, so I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's fucking go, dude. That's so sick. That's so tight, dude. We're so awesome.
I was never good at writing. Never a writer.
Holy shit. That's hilarious. Oh, that was such an unintentionally funny moment.
Wait. I have a complaint I'd like to lodge against the Big Ten. Why is Michigan playing Wisconsin on Valentine's Day on a Tuesday at 9:00?
That's the ESPN fucking.
Why do we do that?
We need to pick it outside ESPN, Bristol, Connecticut for these 9 p.m. games. I'm 30 years old. I can't do this shit anymore.
Yeah, that's too late for me, man. Especially during the winter. Like it's been dark for 3 hours at this time.
Yeah.
Like at that, but I'm halfway through my fucking hibernation. Like I don't know what they want me to do.
I'm like melted into my couch at that point.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, and I've tried to go to a couple of those, and it's just like even like staying awake during the game at the game, like 9 p.m. You're not getting home till midnight. Like that is just brutal. I think we talked about this after Purdue.
Yeah, that's what it was, Purdue.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, give me 7:30 at the latest.
I mean, and 8:00 is like that would be the last for me. That'd be it.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about gosh, we talk about the Hawaii football game. It was the weather delay with the lightning, and that game didn't kick off till like 9:30. That was rough. I was like, bro, I need to go home. Like, I can't. Thank God JJ was slinging it, but I can't. Like, I'll say this: I like living on, in the Eastern time zone, but there is something too. Like when I was out in California for work, and it was like it's a little weird getting used to, but it was also like, oh, it's 4:00. Sports are on. Like, that's pretty sick.
That's why I
know?
would love to live on the West Coast.
Right, like, I can get down with
you wake
that.
up on Saturdays, 6 a.m., college game days on. Football
That
starts at
sounds
9 a.m.
dangerous for me, though.
Oh,
I'm
I
getting
would
up at 6
100%.
a.m., Natter Day in hand, watching Kirk Herbstreit and Lee Corso get after it. Pat McAfee?
Pat McAfee.
It's tough.
I do love Pat McAfee. All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for tonight. We'll have some more content coming out here soon as this basketball team makes this this possible run. And we'll talk I don't know. We'll talk baseball, softball. They start tomorrow. Softball first game tomorrow.
Wow,
Yep.
first game ever without Hutch, right?
Well,
Was she the
Not-
head coach?
yeah.
Was she the head coach when they first started? I don't know the history.
basically, but they were
Yeah.
like 5 years before it.
Okay.
But
That's
yeah,
wild.
yeah, pretty crazy. So yeah, shout out Bonnie, who's the new head coach. She's been the assistant for 30 years or something like
Right.
that too. So shout out to her. Hope they get a hot start. Shout out to all our softball girls who just put up the they've got go get their merch. Their merch is on, they put it up on their story today. It's in the Blue by 90 shop. Baseball guys are in there too. We've got some extra people in there. So
Yeah, some of the players are hitting us up, so we got to get their stuff in there too. But
shout out Audrey, Emerson, all those girls. It's talk to Jimmy Obertop. He's healing up. So yeah, I mean, shout out to these spring sports. They're starting their season February 9th. You know, like tough and although like as a softball team, they literally traveled to like Florida and California every weekend for the next month from like
fucking awesome.
Thursday to Sunday. So
awesome.
it's probably not like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, but how are you traveling there though? You flying?
They're flying.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they fly.
They flew
I
down
don't
to
know.
Florida.
I guess I have friends that played both college baseball and college softball, and like when they did that, because it was a smaller school, obviously. So I guess
Yeah.
that's where it is. But they drove buses down to do
Yeah,
that kind of
these
stuff.
aren't poverty programs, man.
No, I know. This is Michigan softball might as well be a revenue sport.
Dead serious.
I mean,
about
I
that,
love
dude.
Michigan softball, man. Like that's my jam, bro. Like when they beat UCLA for the chip back in the day, I was hype as hell.
9 Big Ten championships in a row until a couple years ago.
Let's get back to it.
Get back to it. That's right. That's what Audrey told us. Audrey said that she's on a mission. Her and Lexi Blair on a mission. So I like it.
That.
Love
We'll
it.
be following them. So for us, you can follow us at Blue by 90 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Blue by 90 podcast and at blueby90.com.
Go blue.
Go Blue.